Good morning, gentlemen, and happy holidays. It's Dr. Rick Carter McClure here, coming from Las Vegas, Nevada. And as you can see, Lake Mead is right behind me. And it's a beautiful morning. And today our topic is going to be about indecision. And as you remember, this channel is for the heterosexual male on the go. It's about men, for men, and to men. So a lot of the times when I'm in session with clients, I notice that they have a difficult time making decisions. And I'm not talking about, minor decisions. I'm talking more about like the larger decisions we have to make in our life. And one of the things I've noticed is that many of you who have more trouble than others making decisions typically grew up with a background or in a background where you develop this paradigm that the world is scary and that, right around the corner is going to be a dangerous event. So you always have to be constantly alert and hypersensitive about whatever decision you're making. So ultimately, when we're making decisions, we really do need to have an inner confidence and an inner strength to be able to make choices and rely on our own abilities, and also to trust in life. That's why the paradigm of life you want to live in is one that's more optimistic, where you believe that when you take leaps of faith, for example, that doors will open, that whatever you want to call it, the universe or, the life force will ultimately be in your favor rather than against you. Because I think that foundational element is important in building a confidence that allows you to, take chances and risks. So based on our, personalities, we all have different types and levels of risk. Many people are risk averse and find it very difficult to even get on a plane, for example, or make a trip outside of their state. So often, because one may have grown up in a family or an environment where your parents might have been so worried about everything and they felt like danger was just around the corner, or if you walk to school alone, you might be kidnapped or abducted. If you made any choices on your own, that they were always nervous and scared. For example, if you went on an airplane, they made you text immediately when you landed as if the plane was going to crash or something. So ultimately, there's a lot of things that go into developing confidence and making decisions and not getting stuck in that analysis paralysis, where you're just analyzing and thinking over and over and ruminating and collecting as much information as possible, often to make just the simplest decisions. And in a time where we have so many options now, it does feel like we're just inundated with information, and it is challenging to just make a simple decision at times, because we have to step back and realize, okay, right now I'm just overwhelmed, so why don't I calm down and really take a good look at the information in front of me and then ultimately make a decision. What happens with analysis paralysis is ultimately we want to know the future, and we want to somehow get a guarantee that if I make a certain decision, that it will turn out well. So unconsciously, it's almost like we're being a little superstitious, that somehow I can figure out how to have a crystal ball and look into the future and guarantee myself only happiness, success, no pain, no rejection, no failure, and that's just not possible. Ultimately, anyone who has taken risks or made decisions know that you basically weigh the pros and cons, you give it some contemplation, you look within, at your own intuition and your gut hunches, and ultimately you have to just take a leap of faith eventually. There's no more information you can gather at some point, and really it only takes a few days, maybe a week at most, to consider even bigger decisions. And I don't know that with most big decisions we are 100% sure of anything. I think there's always a little bit of doubt, about making any decision. It's wonderful if you have that, that 100% I know I need to do this decision. That's great, but most of the time I don't think it lines up that way. Eventually we trust in ourselves and we know that life is in our favor and we're just going to take a leap of faith and go with it. So up until that point, you really do have to develop a frame of reference or a paradigm of seeing the world as an optimistic place. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability to take chances and land on your feet, even in the face of obstacles and adversity. Because if you don't have that built in, you are always going to just struggle with decision making, because you're going to start getting in your head and ruminating. And remember, the ruminating is just trying to make the unknowable knowable, which really isn't possible. Like, for every person on the planet, the future is unknowable. Like, I might not even be here tomorrow. I might, and people think this is morbid, but it's really not. It's just true. I could die today, and that would make it a moot point if I spent so much time in my head trying to figure out whether I should make a decision. So ultimately, if you weren't raised with parents that were, what do they call it? Free range type parents, where they let their kids ultimately go out and learn life lessons. They're not instilling a sense of fear in them, but they're building up their trust in their kids so that they can go into life and go within, understanding that their abilities will take them a long way. So ultimately, we get more confident as we take chances and risks in life and realize that no matter what happened, whether it's success or things went the way we really wanted them to, or if they didn't, and like we had a failure or things didn't work out the way we wanted to, the confidence comes from the wisdom and the knowledge that no matter what, we figure it out. And if you really think about it, up to this point in your life, you figured out many things and you didn't know the future. And the more that you do that, and the more that you take some chances, and I don't mean impulsive decision making, although once in a while, spontaneity and just saying, the hell with it, I'm going to do it, isn't such a bad idea. So you don't want to always be just thinking and thinking and thinking and getting in your head, because that is where the analysis paralysis comes from, and you become an indecisive person that has trouble just making a decision about what restaurant to go to. All right, that's all I have for you today, guys. Have a great day.